What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the FFAR and the Groza and their base stats in Warzone. So I did that poll on Twitter where I asked people if they would rather have all the base stats for all the weapons first or if they want me to go through attachments. And surprisingly, getting all the attachments for every weapon as I was doing it won. So I was not expecting that, because if I was someone from the outside, I would want the base stats, because if I had base stats, I could at least know if a gun was potentially worth leveling. And these guns take a while to level, so it's not what I was expecting. But what I'm going to do is, today is going to be a standard video where I just cover base stats, and then I will probably go back over and test attachments, and maybe tomorrow my video will be just on attachments and kind of a summary of how they work. We'll see. But for today, it's just going to be covering the FFAR and the Groza. I'm just going to call it the FAR because saying FFAR is very annoying over and over. But yeah, they're both pretty good, so stay tuned, and I'll show you the stats. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick recoil test, then like count the bullets, because these both have weird recoil patterns. They both have kind of like an S-shaped recoil pattern. So let's test this out real fast. I'm going to go 15 meters.
Disregard that.
Shoot a magazine with the FAR, and then shoot a magazine with the Groza. So they see kind of an S shape there. And go to the Groza. Groza has one of those weird recoil patterns where it just kind of stops up at the top. Like if you had a 50 round mag, I don't think it would go any higher than that. I think it would just stay right there. But I mean, who holds the trigger down that long? But anyway, so you get this. You get about, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shots of pretty straight recoil up to the right. And then it redirects and goes left for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots, and then it goes back up to the right all the way, and it keeps going that way if you have a 50 round mag. Then the Groza kind of just has this slow curving pattern, also very similar to the FAR. And I don't remember seeing any recoil patterns like this before with Modern Warfare guns. So these new guns have definitely different recoil patterns, and I think that's why they don't feel so good to some people. But once you get used to this, I think it'll be fine. It's just going to take a little bit of practice getting used to. But yeah, they have similar recoil. The FAR, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shots to get to like this level. And on the Groza, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 6 or 7 shots to get the same level. So you actually put out more bullets with the FAR and the same amount of recoil. But I mean, this is without attachments, so who knows when you actually, fully kit these things out for recoil. Okay, so both these weapons are pretty much going to be sniper complement weapons, I think. Neither of them are quite accurate enough to be long range unless they tweak either recoil or if they tweak how the attachments work later on. Maybe you'll be able to build them more for long range, but for now, they are mostly just going to be like sniper complements or shotgun complement weapons. So I'm going to add them both on the website here. And then because of that, I'm going to add like a Ram 7. Because Ram 7 was probably my top choice as a sniper complement before. And then just for DPS comparison, I'm going to add the Modern Warfare MP5. All base stats. So let's generate the summary here. Start with base stats. So the FFAR shoots 900 rounds per minute. And the damage is very high, 45 to the head, 33 chest, 30 stomach, 30 extremities, and it only has one drop-off at 36 meters, which is crazy. And at the second drop-off, it does 37, 27, 25, 25. So if you know the stats, you know that this is like crazy damage. 900 RPM for these damage values. It's going to have insane TTK, but you'll see that in a second on the chart. Groza shoots 754 RPM, 45 head, 36 stomach, or 36 chest, 28 stomach, 28 extremities. And then 31 plus, again, it only has one damage drop off. 31 plus, it does 37, 29, 23, 23. ADS time is decent on both of them. Better on the Groza, so 238 on the FFAR. So to compare that to the Ram 7, Ram 7's 217. So it's about 20 milliseconds slower for the FFAR. The Groza is 221, so it's kind of in between the two. Let's see. Let's do ADS movement. ADS movement's a little bit better on the Groza. So the Groza is more of an SMG, and that's kind of what it looks like. It's a smaller gun, so it has better movement speed, better ADS movement speed than the FAR. They have the same bullet velocity, 628, which is a little lower than the Modern Warfare assault rifles, but not by a ton. Reload time is almost 2.5 seconds on the FAR, so that's pretty slow. But you'll see why I think the movement and the reload time is a little a little worse on the FAR when we get into the TTK charts. So yeah, reload time on Groza is 2.1. Mag size is bigger on the Groza. The FAR can only get up to a 50 round mag, just like the RAM. So that's another thing that's kind of holding it back a little bit, but it's still super good. But let's jump over to TTK charts. So I'm gonna go 250 chest to start with. This is including bullet travel time to target. And looking at this chart, you will see the FFAR and the Groza absolutely fry. They kill faster with chest shots than the MP5, which is crazy. MP5 was the king of TTK, besides the Doof before Cold War integration, and they extend that damage range all the way out to 31 meters for the Groza and 36 meters for the FAR, which is crazy. I mean, this is longer range than the RAM, and it kills way faster than the RAM. And I think the FAR, I used it a bit last night. I was playing some Warzone. I think it's close to the RAM, but it actually, like, visual recoil is less than the RAM, I would say, and it might actually be a little bit easier to control than the RAM. So 100% the FAR is going to be the new gun to run with a sniper or a shotgun, and it fries. It absolutely fries. I was wiping squads with it left and right. It's so good. Let's include ADS real quick just to see how that changes it. So even though the RAM has a little bit faster ADS, the difference isn't that significant, and the MP5 has much faster ADS, and even including 100% ADS time, the Groza and the FAR still kill faster than the MP5 all the way out to that first damage range. Alright, let's turn this back off and go to extremities real quick. So on extremities, the Groza gets quite a bit worse. So it goes up to 637. It's still super good. I mean, it's still like almost MP5 level. But the RAM is faster than the Groza if you hit legs only, extremities only. And then the FFAR is actually still super fast, still faster than the RAM even on extremities, which is just crazy. These guns are super good. I've had fun using both of them. I wasn't sure which one was better just using them in game, but I think based on the stats, for the most part, I'll be using the FAR with my sniper. The Groza is still a great choice, but it's just hard to get over that TTK with the FAR. It's just insane. It just melts people. Yeah, it's a fun gun. So as far as suggested builds go, I actually have used the FAR a little bit, and there's some different ways you can build this. So if you want to run this a little longer range, then I don't have it fully leveled. I have almost everything, but I don't have the last barrel yet. But if you want to run it as like a longer range AR, then you're really going to want bullet velocity and damage range. So I would go with probably the reinforced heavy, depending on what this final barrel stats do. And like I said, I'll be getting attachment stats probably tomorrow, depending on how much real life stuff I have to get done. But yeah, you're going to want bullet velocity, damage range, and then underbarrel, the field agent grip for sure is the best grip right now. This thing really helps with making the gun controllable. So if you don't have attachments for it, it's going to feel kind of out of control. But with this field agent grip, it makes a really big difference. Ammunition, definitely 50 round mag. I believe the last mag is also a 50 round mag. I don't know which is better yet, but I will hopefully know that soon. So I've just been going with that one. And then ADS time, I just use speed tape because it has no cons. It's just all positive. And if you're not worried about sprint to fire time, you can use the serpent wrap, which probably, again, haven't tested yet, but it probably has better properties than the speed tape as far as how much it helps ADS time. But it will hurt your sprint to fire, so if you're rushing buildings and things, you want sprint to fire time, so I wouldn't get this. So yeah, I just use speed tape. And this gun has fantastic irons. That's something I didn't mention before, but both the Groza and the FAR have amazing iron sights. So like it's awesome. It gives you an extra attachment slot to play with. So that's another big benefit of both these guns. And then if you wanted to run it more like an SMG, you could do something like either no barrel, or you could do the ultralight barrel, so you have better strafe speed. I'm assuming that's the same as ADS movement speed, but who knows. I think I personally, well, I don't know. The infiltrator grip is pretty good, so it gives you better move speed, shoot move speed, and aimed walking movement speed. So that would be a really good grip for like an SMG build. And then as far as mag goes, so the 50 round mag here hurts your ADS times again, which is not great for up close, but you really need those 50 bullets. So depending on, I don't know what this last one is, so depending on what that is, one of these two would be the option, because I know they're both 50 round mags, and you need 50 rounds. This gun shoots 900 rounds per minute, so you need at least 50 rounds. Speed tape again would be probably what I'd go with for an SMG build. Just get the ADS times faster without penalizing your sprint to fire time, because it's, like I said, if this is your SMG, you're going to be rushing buildings with this thing. So you really want sprint to fire times to be low. And if you were going to swap something out of this build, this SMG build, I would probably take the ultralight off and do a stock that reduces sprint to fire. So one of the marathon or CQB probably would be what I would go with. If you like hip firing, then obviously maybe marathon. But CQB also helps sprint to fire, probably helps sprint to fire more since it has a penalty to hip fire. So that's a really important stat, especially with ARs, because ARs have a much higher sprint to fire time just because they're ARs in Call of Duty. So to be competitive with an SMG when you're using an AR up close, you really need to work on sprint to fire times. So I would probably go with the CQB pad, but this is how I'd build this gun. And you can essentially, the attachments are very similar for both the Groza and the FFAR. So if you're going to be doing this, if you're going to be using these guns, these are kind of the two builds I would recommend. And you can build them the same because, like I said, the attachments are very similar between the two. So I'll get the attachment video out hopefully in the next day or two. And what it's going to do is basically just cover probably like just one gun's attachments, and then you can kind of assume that the attachments are similar across guns, and then as I have time I'll actually go through and test all the weapons, but it's just going to take a lot of time, so that's why I'm going to do it that way to start with. Okay, well that just about covers everything for the FFAR and the Groza. Like I said, the FFAR is going to be super good, so is the Groza. Very competitive weapons. I think the FFAR is kind of too good, to be honest. It's crazy how fast it kills people, faster than the SMGs. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's fun to have something different to play with, so I'm okay with it. Anyway, so I have a Discord server that's linked below that you can come in and ask me questions directly. There's also a good community there. We have like 1,500, 2,000 members at this point. Find groups to play with and stuff. Also, I stream. I think most people know this at this point, but I stream pretty regularly at twitch.tv/TrueGameDataLive. Had a crazy stream a couple days ago when I posted that I was live right after my Type 63 video. That was a blast, so thank you guys all for coming out for that. We did private lobbies. A lot of people got in. That was a lot of fun. Also have a Facebook group that has been created for True Game Data, so if you are a Facebook group person, you can join that. We have, it's a little smaller, but like 200 members. It's growing. So it's another place, another community to talk to about different builds and loadouts and things. But yeah, I appreciate you guys all watching. I hope you find this video helpful. I hope you find the data helpful. I'm going to keep going as fast as I can. It just takes a long time to get all this stuff done with how I have to test actually in plunder matches. It's not super easy. It's doable, but it's just going to take me a little while. So stick with me, bear with me as I try to get all the data, and I will see you guys all in the next video.